Hi, I'm Nikita, and I'm here at Refuge, and I'm chatting with Michelle.
And I'm a survivor voice for Refuge.
Why was it important for you to want to work with Refuge, Michelle?
I think being a survivor of emotional abuse, I think it's really important that I've got a daughter, that I give a message that, you know, we have to really empower ourselves and to recognise that we are worthy of, you know, who we are, and that no one should be able to put you down or emotionally abuse you in any way, shape or form. She was my driving force in my healing journey to find the strength to speak up and own my story.
I think that sentence, driving force, is what a lot of mums would say, because my mum says the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, she has me and my sister, and she was like, you guys were the driving force for her to kind of carry on. I think, like, you know, as you get older, you realise that actually how strong, like, women are and single mums are as well.
100%. I just felt like I was a new mother. She was 6 months old when it happened. I was trying to be a new parent, understanding that now, and when it happened to me, I just didn't know how to deal with it. I remember looking down at Amelia at that night when he was arrested, and I thought to myself, how can I love you if I don't even love myself? But that's what happens when you've been in a toxic relationship. It happens over time. It doesn't happen overnight. And to deal with what happens to you when somebody uses your love against you in some way, it's very difficult to understand, and you want to kind of seek help and support from somewhere. So that's where Refuge comes into place, where if you need to get out and find hope to end the abuse, that's why I came to Refuge and wanted to be a survivor voice, so that other women are brave enough to leave, because it's not always easy to leave.
No, it's not. I think you're very brave for speaking about your story as well, because being a survivor yourself and then wanting to help other women, for me, I feel like that's why I really want to, you know, raise awareness and really want to help other women, because I've been in a situation myself growing up in a very violent environment. So I just, you know, I really want to help others. And I think when you've been through it yourself and you've come out the other end, you want to help others do the same.
100%. And when we stand together, I feel like as women who's been through this, you have like an understanding of what, you know, of like what you've been through, and you feel, you trust that. You trust that connection. Refuge like helps you to regain that confidence and regain control back of your life, because when you've been in an abusive environment, that kind of is taken away, that control is taken away from you.
Yeah, and like you speak about emotional abuse as well, because people don't realise that's abuse as well.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you may not see the scars or the bruises, but it's just the same. It's embedded in your mind mentally, and it affects you mentally, physically, and emotionally. How you, well, especially for women, how you carry out your life, because every small challenge in life, it feels so overwhelming, and especially having children, you want to be a role model for them and be strong, but sometimes you need to work on yourself to be able to rekindle that relationship, to be strong, and to, especially for my daughter, I want to show her that, you know, you can get out and pull out for anything if you start with self-love and self-compassion.
No, that's amazing. I think that's something that we all need to kind of take in as well. Like, we need to love ourselves as well. I think being a woman is hard enough. In general, being a woman is so hard as it is, without, and then having to go through all the hard things that you've been through, and then coming out the other end of it. Like, you're very brave for that as well.
Oh, thank you. And I feel brave and proud of myself that, you know, I've got this far, and it's really personal to me, and I feel that I have a mission to help others, and by doing that I owned my story. And when you start owning your story, it gives you this kind of power to change it and to help others, so others can think, do you know what, she went through a really bad time, but look, she managed in time to get back her life and and a happier one too, and a happier future, and to work towards freedom as well.
What was that first kind of red flag that you saw? You know, if somebody is going through this now and they're listening to us, right? What is that first thing that they might be able to take from you that is maybe like a sign that they're going through
If
something
it
that's not
doesn't look or feel right, trust it.
Okay.
If I was really honest with myself, the red flags were there, but because of the way he was charming, he knew how to manipulate me, he knew I was a good person and I see good things in good people, he knew how to manipulate that. And from the story he used to keep his secret, I should have known that was a story that was really unbelievable. So he committed bigamy, and for him to be able to do that, he told me a story that he was in witness protection. So for him to be able to live his double life, he was able to disappear, tell me, you know, if I loved him, I should understand what he's going through, and to keep it a secret. And so that was starting to isolate me from my friends and family, and his family especially. And we were trying for a baby, and because it took me so long to fall pregnant, he, and when I eventually did, he left me alone, and he still went around and he married the other woman. He was able to do that because he could go and leave whenever he wanted to. I remember on a phone call and I said to him, look, when are you coming home? When is this all going to end? And he goes, if you loved me enough, you would stop asking these questions. It was pretty much like, I'm here for 2 hours, showing my face, and then I'm off again. So it was a very lonely time for me, and soon enough I wasn't allowed to tell his family and friends he was in witness protection. So I was going to my daily life and just
hiding
hiding it, putting that face on, that act, you know,
like
everything's all right, but inside I was very unhappy, I was stressed, I started to suffer from anxiety. There's small little signs you don't realise because you believe them.
You believe them.
Yes.
You must be like afterwards questioning yourself, because obviously you believed all the lies. So obviously I can see it could take this emotional toll on you, like mentally as well, right?
Totally. Like, I thought I was going crazy. I didn't know what was real anymore. I couldn't even trust my own judgment.
Yeah.
I didn't, like, little things seemed really overwhelming. I felt scared. I didn't know where I was going to be. He was a breadwinner. So he controlled the finances. So I had no idea what was going to happen to me next.
Because obviously he must have been telling you certain lies from the start then, right?
Yeah, pretty much I would have thought. I like to think it wasn't all a lie, but now when this happens to you, you don't know what's the truth anymore.
But when you got married, and obviously, you know, you're involved with his family as well, so they didn't have a clue about any of it either.
No, they didn't know he was in witness protection, that's for sure, the story he pulled up. But he made the story that we were divorced. He forged a degree absolute and said that I had an affair and he left me and we divorced. Just like that. What I was surprised is I was very close to his family, but none of them actually approached me and asked me how I was.
What was that first point for you, or first thing, you know, when you kind of got out of your situation? What was that first kind of step for you to build yourself?
To recognise that I needed help.
Okay.
And that who was I doing it for? Not just for myself, but for my child and for my family. And just to rekindle a relationship with myself, so know I can create the life that I want, that is happy and joyful, and the life I deserve, because I deserve to feel loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
So I bet you feel like now that you've taken that step, and do you feel like in a much happier place? Do you feel back to yourself?
Oh, it was a long journey, a very hard journey, not an easy journey. However, it was just understanding why, self-educating why, and recognising and identifying those red flags, I was able to, move on and, write a book about it. And so it's a self-help book, just through how my journey, how I managed to cope with the trauma I've been through, and to have more self-compassion with myself, and to create a life that is good and wonderful for my daughter, myself, and to find love again, the love that I deserve. Yeah, it's called Shine Baby Shine, because I think everyone should shine in their own way and just reclaiming your self-worth.
I think that's really positive as well, that you've been able to use like what's happened to you, which was so negative, and you've used it in a positive way.
Yes.
So it definitely would help a lot of women with you just speaking out about that and your book as well. Do you feel like what you went through, like you're in obviously a much better place now?
Oh, 100%.
And for your daughter as well, like she was quite young then when it all happened? She was a baby.
Right. Yes.
So she didn't grow up seeing.
No, but it was also in stages of when she'd understand where her father is, who her father is, and I took that in stages. And you tell a child, I mean, at the time she first asked about him, she was 6 years old, and I explained, she goes, "Where's my dad?" And I said, I explained it to how a 6-year-old would understand, is that Daddy broke the rules.
Yeah.
And he's not with us because I left him because he did a bad thing to me.
Yeah.
Because it was in the magazines, the newspaper. She was now 7. She's asking about him, and she'll say, I said, "Would you like me to read you about what happened?" Just taking her and guiding her slowly to understand to what she can take in. But she seems like a very happy child. We have a very feminine family background with my mother and me and her. It's always been the 3 of us. So she's definitely in an environment of strong women.
Oh, I love that. No, I feel the same, because I grew up with literally just my mum and my sister, so it's always been the 3 of us, and it's always been strong women, because I feel like when you are around that, like it does empower you. I think so strong, you as a mother, to like put your child first and to say that this isn't right, and just to keep her like happy, like you said, like she was a driving force for you. So I think like it definitely resonates with me, because I'm so grateful now, like being an adult and looking back on everything. So I definitely think like women are so strong, and they always know how to navigate through like the worst of situations.
And that's what's so great about us women. When we actually get together, there's a special connection where we're really empowering each other, and we feel good. And especially when we talk about it, and we definitely don't feel alone. And there's something really special about that, and how we can pull through together even in the darkest times.
I think talking about it openly really helps. I think not enough people talk about it, especially like I can talk from like a South Asian background, like people don't talk about it enough. The kind of like the taboo, I would say, of talking about emotional violence, emotional abuse and domestic violence.
Women never spoken of.
Women never spoke about it. Anyone in your family could be going through it, but they just taught not to say a word. They go through it silently, and the next day have to cover it up. And everything's okay, and that's just what you do, and women just got on with it, didn't they?
I think a lot of shame and guilt to this experience has a lot to do with it, and people don't want to talk about it, but it's time to talk about it, because the more we talk about it and voice about it, we can help and support, and we can do something about it together. It's and it's not shameful. It actually happens more than we think it do. It happens quite a lot, and I'm sure you've got a friend or a family or a co-worker who's actually going through it right now, but doesn't want to talk about it. But we should be talking about it, because that's the only way we can change. Sometimes there's so many reasons, like you said, culture, religion, children, financial. They're scared, but like even Seeking Help at Refuge, There's so many resources. It's just sort of educating yourself, okay, I'm going to have a choice. I'm going to make a choice to do it, and I can do it because there's an organisation that you can trust that they will look after you, look at you.
I think you're right, because I think a lot of women don't know that there is somewhere they can go, because like you said, there's loads of reasons why women wouldn't be able to leave. They can't just leave, you know, they've got kids, like you said, financial situations. Definitely, like going back to like cultural reasons as well, like especially in the Asian community, I just feel like it's never talked about. Like, it happens a lot. I feel like it's always about the one line that they always say is, what people are going to think, what is my family going to think, what is my community going to think. But I just want to stamp that out, and I want to be like, you know, it doesn't matter what they think, it matters about your life, and they don't put themselves first. And that's what it is.
I think that's it. It's putting yourself first is a great way to sort of move on from that. But having to put yourself first, because we put others, especially as women, we always put others before ourselves, because that's how we're naturally conditioned and been brought up. You got to be kind, you got to be good, you got to look beautiful, you got to get a good husband, you got to, you know, those are put onto us. But then if we looked at what we wanted, you can still have all that. But then when you start looking after yourself, you can give more to the people who need it. I think when I say when I'm owning my story, just tells me like, I'm owning it. I have no shame about it. I did no wrong. This is what happened. This is the kind of steps you can take. This is how you can start to feel good and feel lovable again. And it's not your fault. And if I was really honest with myself, like when I was in this relationship, I totally forgot about myself, and I did lose myself in a relationship, and I gave him that power and that control over. But actually, by, you know, leaving this relationship, you're gaining power back. And, you know, with Refuge, they can give you the advice on how safely you can do that. Within your own situation. I think there's a lot of understanding and trusting and support. And knowing there's hope to end that abuse.
Because it's scary to take that step, because it's like what you've been in a situation for so long. I think maybe it's just knowing that you can have someone there to talk to, or, you know, if you don't want to tell your friends or family, Refuge is here for that as well, just to listen.
100%. And like the first when I found out about what he had done, I went through a panic stage. I thought, oh my goodness, light bulb moment. That's how he managed to do it. The first thing I remember is going home, starting packing a bag. Don't know why. I was fearing for myself, fearing for my child. I don't know this man. What do I do? And I just remember just packing a bag, and I just stopped and I just cried and thought, how did this happen to me? Why did I allow it to happen to me? How do I get help?
But you shouldn't say, why did you allow it to happen to you?
I know,
but that's why the time you blame on yourself.
But that's what I felt. I felt really angry. There was a lot of anger. I blamed myself. I was a failure. I mean, now I was a single mother, and I thought, well, that was a failure. But now when I look at being a single mother now, where I am now, I feel so empowered, and I feel strong, and I feel proud that I can stand on my own and be dependent. I've regained my independence back, my control back, because I had been taken away from me for being in a relationship like that.
How did you have that light bulb moment? You said, like, how did that happen?
Like light bulb moment was when when my friend said she discovered he was living a double life. Oh my goodness! Of course, it all makes sense to me just by all that information. It just made sense of all the lies he told me. He was going to be home late. He was away with work. He couldn't make the antenatal classes because I was pregnant at the time, so I went to every single one on my own, making excuses for him, you know, because he told me he was in witness protection and he had to get back to the house.
So it was your friend that said it, and then it clicked with you?
Oh, it was like dominoes. It was just all the jigsaw puzzles came back together again.
Had you told your friend like things before, or was it like the first kind of conversation that you had?
I had kept everything. He had controlled I separated myself from my friends because it meant conversation and asking where he is, how he was, and I didn't want to put myself in that situation. So I stayed at home. I just Yeah.
And then when you felt like you could just tell someone, then it just kind of came out.
And it was just shocking because I was so good at hiding it that they were shocked I was even going through that. For it was 18 months I went through that. So luckily I had very good support, and the first thing was to get legal help.
Yeah. But it's good that you had the support as well, because not many people would have that.
And that's where Refuge comes into play, that I was very lucky I had that support, but not everybody has that.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, many people. And in general, you can feel alone when you go through the situation anyway. Even if you do have good friends or family, you need to be able to tell someone, because if you bottle it up, it's just not going to do any good to yourself, is it?
No, you can't move forward. Yeah. And especially when you've got children, because it's not about you, it's about them and their safety, and how that affects them, and they're growing up and they've been protected from an abusive partner. You want them to be safe, and as a mother, that's the most important thing. Funny enough, if you ever met me, I am very confident. I come across independent, but yet it still happens to me. So the message here, it can happen to anybody. It doesn't matter how beautiful or rich, it can happen to anyone. And it's happening more than we all think.
Why do you think, I mean, I actually don't know if anyone has the answer to this, but why do you think that society is so judgmental on women that go through stuff like this? Because that is why women don't want to talk about it, or why it's so taboo in certain cultures and communities.
Because we've got this thing about, we overreact, or we're quite dramatic. We're, as women, and we've got to be competitive. So she must be, there's something wrong with her, because she's having emotions, a lot of emotions. I'm not allowed to feel emotions. So I think it's a lot to do with that, and that's as people portray women, and maybe over-exaggerating, because we like to chat to our friends, and we like to, bond, and it could be, we're attention seekers, those negative. But why can't we? Because that's part of being a woman, but it's looked at as quite negatively, I feel.
It's so hard to be a woman, isn't it?
Yes, but it also can be great to be a woman too.
That's true. Women are the best. We run the world. Girls run the world.
I'm going Beyonce now.
Yeah, go Beyonce. I'm quoting Beyonce lyrics now. Oh, God. Well, thanks so much for sharing, Michelle. I really appreciate you sharing your story and just putting it out there. You're definitely helping a lot of women.
Oh, thank you for this opportunity, and I've really had great fun chatting with you and sharing my story. It's been an absolute honour.